we're going to get the rubber match between Texas A&M and Texas in the SEC basketball tournament.
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. We got a short little bonus episode today. As you're watching this, I'm heading to Nashville for the SEC tournament. And last night, the Texas Longhorns took down the Vanderbilt Commodores in Nashville to set up a Texas A&M versus Texas game on Thursday in the SEC tournament. A game where the stars for Texas were good. Mark has 19 points on 5 of 8 shooting. Trey Johnson has 19 points and 6 of 19 shooting. Wasn't incredibly efficient, but he's just a stud. Pope has 14 points. Kaluma has 11 points. Shedrick has 9 points. They only get 7 points from the bench, but once again, I mean, this is a team that relies on their stars. I think the Longhorns are playing. I know they lost that. They've been losing, but they just seem like to be playing good basketball while losing. I think that this is going to be a really tight basketball game, and I love that we're getting the rematch. Of course, Texas A&M opened up SEC play this year on the hardwood with an 80-60 win over the Longhorns at home, a game where you got 18 points from Zorick Phelps on an efficient 6 of 8 shooting. Wade Taylor scores 13 points. You get 15 points from Payne, and you get 10 points from Manny Obaseki. Then they play again later in the month of January, and the Longhorns pull out a crazy win where the Aggies had a 43-25 lead at the half. And the Longhorns come out and outscore the Aggies 45-26 in the second half. Trey Johnson had 30 points in this game. Wade Taylor has 15. You get 13 from Manny Obaseki, 7 from Payne, 7 from Hefner, 7 from Phelps. So a game where, it's funny, I was watching that in the half. I just felt so good at we're going to sweep these Longhorns. You felt really good about it. And then, of course, the Longhorns make that big comeback and win this game. And it was a frustrating one. I mean, it was a really frustrating game that the Aggies dropped in one that, once again, I mean, it just felt like you'd won the thing up as much as you were at the half. And Texas A&M, of course, bounced back with the win over Oklahoma. They won a whole bunch straight after win over Oklahoma, South Carolina, Missouri, Georgia, Arkansas before they finally lose to Mississippi State and kind of went on that skid toward the end of the year. So, it was this Texas team. I'm high on this team because I just think they've got good star players in Kaluma, Johnson, and Mark. I mean, they're good basketball players. And Texas A&M is going to have to find a way to kind of slow those stars. So let's pull up the KenPom, and this will likely be updated after Texas's game. Texas is 44 in KenPom. They're 48 in both metrics. That's interesting, actually. So they're not great on either end of the floor. Texas A&M, once again, is 42 in offense and then 8 in defense. So pretty strong on both ends of the floor there. So we're going to talk about who needs to play well for the Aggies in this game, if they're going to pull out the win, and then, of course, what that next matchup would look like if the Aggies pull out the win on Thursday. We'll talk about that coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Factor Meals. Looking to optimize your nutrition this year, Factor makes eating well easy with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals that are fresh, never frozen, and ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. With over 40 options across 8 dietary preferences every week, you can customize your meals to fit your lifestyle, whether it's Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto Plus. Factor even offers wholesome smoothies, breakfast, and grab-and-go snacks to keep you fueled all day long. I love how Factor takes the stress out of meal planning. I recently tried their Protein Plus meals, and they were packed with flavor and kept me full throughout the entire day, which is so nice when you're kind of trying to get through work and all that. The convenience is unbeatable. No prep, no mess, just great food in minutes. Eat smart with Factor. Get a Factor meal. Go get started at factormeals.com/lockedoncollege. 50 off, and use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE 50 off, the number 50, to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Once again, that's Locked On College 50 off at factormeals.com/lockedoncollege 50 off to get 50% plus free shipping on your first box. And once again, that website and code is right below me right there. So, of course, the Aggies tomorrow, they'll play the noon Central Time game. They'll play after, so I bet that's on schedule for probably 3:30 is when that'll probably tip. And the Aggies will play Texas. If they win, they'll play the Tennessee Volunteers. And I think that in this game, what Texas A&M did a good job of, I mean, in that 80-60 victory to kick off SEC play, once again, they did a good job of slowing Trey Johnson, who was 2 of 13 for 11 points. And that's going to be the key. I really think he's a special player. Like, the Aggies actually lost. Oh, no, I read that wrong. They did win on the boards, on the offensive boards, 11-5, and they won 30-26 overall. Trey Johnson's a special player. None of us can sit there and knock. I mean, this kid's a real stud, a great basketball player. And he's been playing good basketball of late. So, I mean, he led the SEC in points, averaging 20.2 points per game. Of course, he had 19 against Vandy yesterday, as I said. But, I mean, look at his last, handful of games. 19 points. He had a 7-point game, a rough one against Oklahoma. Then 23, 12, 39, 29, 32, 24, 15, 25, 18, 22, 30. He's just a stud. I've said it, and I think that he's going to be a better NBA player than Cooper Flagg. I just think that he's at that 6'6" frame. He can shoot. He can pass. He can do it all. I think that you're going to see Trey Johnson be an absolute star at the next level. So I really want to see the Aggies slow him, because I think that's how you're going to win. I mean, because Texas is not a team where you're like, okay, you know what, let their star go for 32 because we're going to shut down everybody else and win that way. I just don't think they're not that type of team, because Mark is really good. Kaluma's really good. They're good top to bottom. I think that basketball team is better than people give it credit for. I think a lot of the issues got to be coaching, because, I mean, it's a good roster of some veteran players, and the guy in Trey Johnson, who I think is going to be a future All-Star in the NBA. So you got to slow him. I think that's the route to doing it. And because if you slow him and then you get killed by Mark or Kaluma, it's going to hurt just as bad. So need to see the Aggies find a way to slow Johnson, but really keep all those star players kind of calm in this game. But, the Aggies have the defense to be able to get that done. And then if you win, you play Tennessee on Friday, which should be another great game. I think that Tennessee's a good team playing good ball right now. It'll be a defensive struggle. It'll be a fun basketball game. Maybe not fun to watch, but it'll be a fun one at the end of the day. That's going to do it for just a little preview. Of course, we'll get deeper into this, and then on Sunday we'll get a bracket. We'll have a show talking about stuff like that. I'll be in Nashville, so maybe try and bring some YouTube shorts and some different things about it. That's going to be it for the show today. I'm pre-recording, so I'm recording this Wednesday night right after the Texas game went final. Tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, I'm going to record a show for Friday talking mostly football and baseball. A big series coming up against Alabama on the Diamond this weekend. So I'm going to talk about those two things mostly on Friday's episode, and then we'll get more into the basketball content when I get down there and all that. So appreciate you all bearing with me while I'm traveling for all this. Going to get some good stuff from it, though. Really appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Have a great time watching this ball game on Thursday. It's going to be a good one. And then, like I said, tomorrow on Friday, you all will see a show about baseball series against Alabama and some football topics. That's going to do it. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you on Friday right here on Locked On Aggies.